How's your first week here been? Oh, I have no doubt. We don't get visitors very often. It's been about 1,000 years. All of my subjects are very, we'll say, enthusiastic to meet someone like you from the outside world. I'm very glad they've made your stay incredibly enjoyable. I am still a little worried about... Right. You said you were shipwrecked, but there's no evidence of that. It seems more like you were put here on purpose. What purpose, I can't tell. So I would like to ask you for your help. Oh no, nothing like that. Although, if you do help me out, while having the Queen of the Amazons in your debt, that can't be a bad thing, can it? In fact, I might have a few ideas of how I could repay you. But first things first. Why were you on that ship to begin with? Really? And how long have these expeditions been going on for? Do you know? I see. Well, I'm very curious. The humans have been searching for lost islands and things for a very long time. In fact, that's largely why we cut off contact in the first place. Oh no. I completely understand there'll be all kinds of people with all kinds of motivations. You, by your own admission, signed up for that expedition just to make a little bit of money. And human greed has been quite a thorn in our side. Yes, even though we haven't had any interactions with the outside world. We still eat. We gather fish from the seas that have become increasingly polluted. Well, no, it doesn't affect us. But it affects the wildlife around us. If we have the ability to help, should we not help? You see, this is exactly why I think you are the best human who could have arrived here. Yes, you were searching for money, but you have empathy, you have sympathy. These are good traits. Traits that are in conflict with the excessive greed that drove us into hiding in the first place. But on the other hand, your employer, your superior, whoever sent you on the expedition, whoever paid you for it, they are looking for things. They are doing it because they want to find something they can make money off of. And history has taught us that generally means exploiting the resources of a new land, of this land. Oh no, of course not. I completely believe you. If I didn't, you would have been clapped in chains and thrown in the dungeon. Well, of course, that was always a possibility, but it was also unnecessary. Your heart is not ruled by greed. You earn money to survive because that is the world humans have created for themselves. But you don't do it out of a desire to constantly have more. Perhaps I can put it into better, more concrete terms for you. Did you question how we've hidden ourselves from the outside world? I would say yes. It is functionally magic. But where does that come from? If magic exists, then why have most humans come to believe it doesn't? Your ancestors, well, maybe not yours specifically, but humanity's ancestors, they once had magic. And, well, I'm sure you've seen it in your own life. The people who generally rise to prominence in human society don't always have the best of intentions. Humans had magic, and in their greed they misused it. And so magic was taken from them. No, not by us. As much power as we have, no. I don't have the ability to do that. None of us here do. The gods do. Of course they are real. They too have hidden themselves away from people because of their greed. You know the story of the Tower of Babel, don't you? That's not just a story in a book. It really happened. People trying to climb to the heavens to overthrow the gods. How do you think the gods reacted to that? Yes, that's how the story goes. Everyone was cursed to speak a different language so they could not communicate and do that again. If you think about that beyond just the surface level, does that even really make sense? Math? Basic engineering principles? Construction, architecture, these things don't require a language to understand. That's the story they put in the book. That's the story humanity's passed down over the years. But that's not the real story. The real story is that a very greedy man brought together as many powerful magic users, full of greed, as he could, and tried to steal the power of the gods and ascend to godhood himself. And so, yes, they didn't take too kindly to that. They destroyed the tower. And they cut off humanity from access to Magica. But they did not cut off my people. They did not cut off the people of Atlantis. These long-lost civilizations. We were not cut off. We were not part of the problem. And we learned that trusting humans is a very risky business. And it was better to isolate ourselves from them. Avoid any of the power struggles that so often plague human societies. Oh, it's not something I can just give. I'm no priestess. I don't understand exactly how these things work. I do know that magic is bestowed by the gods. It's... well, it's a sort of way to tap into divine power, to alter reality. No, I won't be teaching you magic. Well, first of all, it would be a waste of effort. Without the endorsement of the gods, it would never work. Besides, I think there's a role much more suited to you here, if you'd be willing to consider it. But maybe you noticed, maybe you haven't, but I rule alone. And I would very much like to have a king by my side. Well, of course I mean you. Do you see any other men here? Well, we can explain the details later. You intrigue me. Well, that's fair. Alright, to be completely honest with you, I have wanted to reintegrate with the rest of the world for quite some time. But my people have all disagreed with me. Force them? No. I may be queen, but I'm not some tyrannical dictator who decides what happens to my people without them having any say. No, not to be judgmental. That's one of the traits of humanity that drove us into hiding. No one should rule with that much power. But I would very, very much like it if you would accept a place on my throne and rule alongside me. I'm very serious. But before I can offer that, we need to earn the approval of my subjects. Well, our union would be the perfect way to reintegrate into the rest of the world. It's a sign of good faith that we are willing to work alongside people. But there is one catch, and it is a rather difficult one to overcome. Even with the approval of my people, you cannot be crowned king if you do not have the ability to use magic, and right, that has to be bestowed by the gods. So, if you are interested in reigning over our lands, we have quite a lot of work to do before we can get to that point. A week is more than long enough to understand someone's intent. I see the confusion. Do you remember when I first met you a week ago? And I told you then that I did not sense any deception from you. To make a long story exceptionally short, I specialize in scrying magic, in perception, in understanding. It's how I've kept an eye on the outside world for all of these years. And I can tell the quality of a person just by meeting them. I have no doubt at all in my mind you would be my perfect king. We just have to help the rest of my people see that first. Though they would not approve of me teaching you any magic, even if you couldn't use it without approval of the gods. gods. So our first step is going to be finding a god who will champion you before the Pantheon, and argue as an exception to the rule that humans should not have access to magic. Well, it has happened, and some of the gods are willing to make side deals that the others don't know about, and those humans I try to keep an eye on, but that's something that we can discuss in detail after you've been crowned. I believe I've eaten up enough of your time for today. I have other matters to attend to, so I will leave you with enough time to mull everything over. Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm. However, I do still think you should have a little bit of time to sleep on it before making any sort of big decision like this. In time, yes. Until then, how about this? I will give you my pendant. And if you have any questions or any concerns, all you have to do is hold it tightly in both of your hands and ask the question aloud. And I will answer it, wherever you are, any time of day, any time of night. I understand you're cut off from the entire world you knew, and that can be very isolating. Well, be that as it may, I can't let you leave for all the reasons I've already said, but that doesn't mean I can't make your stay here as comfortable and relaxing as possible. So if there's anything I can do for you, you let me know. Of course. And I'll see you again soon. Take care, my future king. Hello everyone, Star here, and thank you for listening to Amazon 2. It's what I've temporarily titled this before I come up with a much better title. So, holy crap, the first video did phenomenally well. My god, I could not believe those numbers I was seeing. Blew my mind. And I had a lot of people, like, day one asking, will there be a sequel? Will there be a sequel? Yes. Any video that does that good straight out the gate, it only makes sense to make a sequel. Currently, pre-editing, we're sitting at almost 25 minutes, so this is probably going to be a bit on the longer side. But, I don't know. I also got a little rambly at parts, so there's definitely going to be a good bit cut out. I decided, spur of the moment, congratulations, you're now in line to be king of a brand new country. Well, not brand new, but like newly rediscovered country that is going to be reintroducing itself to the world. That puts you in a very interesting position for someone who understands, well, at least, theoretically, understands geopolitical things and dynamics and such, because it's a bit of a theme in the first video, right? I'm not entirely sure where I want to go with all this, but I'm liking it so far. Apparently, Tower of Babel was just a cover-up for the gods taking away humans' magic. I don't know how I came up with that on the spur of the moment, just improv style, but I fucking... Don't use F words, YouTube doesn't like them. I love it. I love it. I love that idea. Now I do have plans for some nefarious gods pulling some shady shenanigans. We'll see how it all plays out. Honestly, at the moment, I don't even know. So it's a surprise to me too. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I will say I'm planning on a part 3 and that'll probably be the end of the series, unless, if this video also does phenomenally, mind-bogglingly well, yeah, we'll keep going, why not? But currently I'm planning to end it at 3. Thank you all to everyone who listened this far in my somewhat of a rambly outro. I've done worse, but this is a little long now. Thank you to everyone who supports my channel on Patreon, to everyone who clicks likes and leaves comments. My brain's a little rusty because I haven't recorded in a little bit. But, oh well. Thank you all. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And goodbye for now. Mwah.